Halloween has come to Arena Breakout Infinite, and along this macabre holiday comes a ghostly operator, unseen, unheard, and cannot be touched by his enemies. A ghost lurking beneath shadows and hiding among rocky terrain. A sniper is one of the most deadly agents in any battlefield, able to take out even groups of enemies from afar. Oftentimes, his enemies do not even see him nor have any chance to retaliate. This makes a skilled sniper a nightmare to deal with, and any open spaces a red-hot box of death. And so during the beginning of ABI's Halloween event, I unleashed a Mosin-wielding sniper into lockdown. A ghostly operator with only one goal in mind: to upgrade the event pumpkins and earn a bit of coin along the way. These pumpkins, as mysterious as they are event items that level up and increase in value for every successful extraction, with a max level pumpkin valuing worth 250k coin. As such, they incentivize players to successfully extract in every raid. However, it also comes with a risk. If one dies in a raid, they will lose everything, including the pumpkin. This story begins in the Map Valley, a spacious place riddled with open spaces, the perfect playground for a stealthy sniper. I spawned just beside frontier positions, somewhere in the western corner of the map. As the raid began, I immediately heard footsteps above me. Now, since I just spawned, it was obvious that those steps were from scavs, the soulless bots that populate every map in the game. And so the next step forward was simply to push aggressively and loot the place. Now the first raid was uneventful. I had zero encounters with other players regardless, even when I visited places where gunshots were coming from. The highlight of the first raid, I would say, would be the visit to No One Courtyard. But instead of experiencing my role as a subtle sniper beneath the rain, I was merely a scavenger, a vulture feasting from the kill of another hunter. But regardless, the scavenged loot I got was worth 300k or more. So with a careful gallop to the nearest extraction point, I left the quiet raid with 400k worth of loot. And of course, the pumpkin that I was carrying with me entered stage 2 of its life, increasing its worth 2-folds. In the second game, I once again entered Valley. This time I began somewhere in the middle of the map, close to the south beach. Now, since the previous raid was too peaceful for my liking, I came to this raid wanting blood. I needed to encounter players. I needed to become a silent hunter, a death from afar. And so I decided to make my way to the beach villa, a high activity place where I was sure to encounter some players. On my way to Seaside Manor, I heard footsteps. A single player, perhaps making his way to the villa as well. So I paused on the spot and waited until I had my eyes on him. Eventually, he emerged from the rocks below and into the open sands. Now I understand why he took this route. It was just the beginning of the raid, and so players are less likely to be looking over the beach. But I was just a lucky guy, in the right place, at the right time. This first kill proved to be profitable, netting me a loot value of 240k, a very good start. My next stop was in No One Courtyard. I've heard a lot of gunshots from this spot ever since I spawned, so it was likely that there are players there, or at the very least leftover loot. When I reached the bottom of the hill of the courtyard, I immediately heard footsteps. And me hearing them also means they must have heard me. So I switched to the submachine gun I looted from my first kill, anticipating a push from above. After killing the first guy, I wanted to reposition behind the pickup truck in front of me. I thought the second guy pulled back, maybe behind the house. But unbeknownst to me, he was lurking nearby. Fortunately for me, he was a horrible shot, and my aim with the muzzle was true. I killed both contenders and looted their corpses. But the real treasure that I got from that encounter was a room key. A 350k coin worth room key. Now since I am new to this game, I have no idea where I can use this sparkling item. But with its high value, I was sure I may have struck a bit of gold. With a large bag full of loot, I decided to head out of the raid. Although I was still hunting for other opportunities along the way. Not far from where I had the last standoff, I heard footsteps. Just above me. Unfortunately, I had no way of knowing unless of course I headed up there myself. But for some reason, my gut told me to just pass by. I don't know if it was out of fear or just a tingling urge to get out with the loot I already have. So without any hesitation, I followed my gut and went on my way. As I passed by supply camp, I heard sniper shots. So as a sniper myself, I took it as a challenge. A ghost versus a ghost. Now I actually had the upper hand. I managed to pull up behind them like a tiger stalking its prey. However, I made too much noise. The ground beneath me crumbled under my weight, betraying my position. It also didn't help that the enemy sniper blended perfectly against the dull hue of the terrain. He was a better ghost, a phantom hiding in plain sight. I failed to recognize him as I scanned through every corner, allowing him to shoot the first shot. Respecting the skill and preparation of this enemy operator, I decided to retreat. I threw down a smoke bomb, popped a painkiller, and flew like the wind. Bested by another and licking my wounds, I decided it was time to go. I headed to the abandoned shack, a possible extraction point. And I say possible since there is a 50-50% chance that there is nothing there as well. Why? Well, it's just the way it is. As I closed into the shack, I received distant gunshots from the trees. But to be frank, I believe the shooter was a player bot, mainly judging from his movement and gear. After that, I made it to the shack's front door. I was greeted by a tapestry of bodies, dead scabs scattered around the entrance. I looted them without resistance and eventually extracted with 1 million loot. And my pumpkin has leveled up to stage 3. I started the third game in SW Farmhouse, southwest of the farm map. Immediately I heard footsteps, which was very likely from another player. An aggressive player. Due to this player's aggression, I felt that he may be a skilled gamer, and he was out for my blood. so I knew I had to play it smart. And there is nothing smarter than stunning your enemy before you shoot them. I miscalculated my enemy's position, although it didn't matter since the concussion from the grenade made it impossible for him to aim at me. Before looting him, I made sure that there were no other hostiles nearby. And when I was sure, I simply looted him. Now again, I am unsure, but judging from his gear, perhaps this one was another player bot. Although it would be surprising given the aggression he showcased. Regardless, this third raid was again pretty peaceful in terms of PvP. The only operator kill I got was the first enemy and the rest were scavs. There were some questionable moments. And close calls with players. But all in all, the raid was peaceful and profitable, as it allowed one of my pumpkins to reach its max stage and the other one to reach stage 3. Now I could end the story there, the end. I got my stage 4 pumpkin as a Mosin sniper, W for me. But I think it's worth sharing how I also lost the rest of my pumpkins. I went to another lockdown raid in Valley, bringing 2 pumpkins with me. At the beginning of the round, I roamed around supply camp as I was hearing gunshots. I made sure to stick to the trees for cover in case I get shot from afar. When I reached a certain threshold, I started getting shot. Eventually, I found myself trapped behind a tree, trying to fend off shooters while also healing my wounds. As I fought my attackers, I realized that they might be player bots. A lot of their shots were not hitting and their positioning was off. Of course, it was also possible that they may be new players, unaware of the basics. Regardless, I collected myself and aimed for their heads. I managed to take both down, but I was gravely wounded and my supplies were low, or so I thought. You see, I died from bleeding and of course the distant shots from a scav. Which in retrospect was a humiliating thing. Looking at it now, I had large medical kits in my suitcase and I could have used both to heal myself up. But due to the panic of incoming bullets and bleeding wounds, I succumbed to a misguided search for salvation, costing me 2 pumpkins and a few 100,000 coin worth of loot. But fear not, nor should you feel bad for that loss, since the next few raids I did were successful and very profitable.